We can. I like how Emily Boardman is Kaylee Dingy.
I am Kaylee Dingy today.
You are Kaylee Dingy. We love that.
I'll start my video then.
I like how Emily Boardman is Kaylee Dingy. Yes, as you should. My AirPod case is in my thing. I will be right back to grab it. Also, can you mute me so I'm not talking to Emily?
Okay, so sorry. I had to mute the YouTube that I had pulled up because it was doing like delayed audio and I was so confused. But on Zoom, do you hear me all right?
During this time.
Anyone on Zoom? Can you let me know?
AirPod the mic. Yes, Emily, we can hear you.
Okay, just making sure.
I was texting you.
Oh, thank you, Nestle. It was echoing and I was very concerned for a second. So far it's just you two and me. How's it going?
I'm just laying in bed.
That's good.
Hey.
Well, Grace and I are here, so there's three of us.
My Zoom picture is Kaylee because I'm on Kaylee's account, but my name is here.
Oh.
All right, so we'll get started in 6 minutes.
My AirPods dead. Hello.
Also, if you're joining us on YouTube, it is a little bit delayed from the Zoom call, so if it seems confusing at any point, that is why.
They're not opening. Hello.
Hello. You good, Jaden?
Oh, my AirPods are being weird.
Okay.
I'm so sorry.
All right, about 6 minutes. Oh, I'm so sorry. There's 2 people in the waiting room. Oh, hello. All right, I'm gonna share my screen from the election stuff. Can everyone see this?
Yes.
Okay, amazing, thank you. I'm learning how to use a dual monitor today, so please be patient. Cool. I'm gonna go with that one. Okay, you got the quiet. Other people on here. Yes. Oh, no. Should I go out here and like try to be obvious? Go out there. There's other people back there. So you go out there. There's so many people here. And why do I need a door? Thank you all for waiting so patiently. We'll get started soon. Just waiting for another election commission member to join. Oh, no, you're all right. So I think we're ready to get started. Thank you all for being here today. Oh wait, I'm sorry. One more person inside of the waiting room. All right, cool. I think we're good now. Can everyone see, hear everything perfectly? Little thumbs up. Cool. Awesome. Thank you, Kristen. All right, so thank you for being here today. My name is Emily Boardman. I use she, her pronouns, and I am the current Senator for Diversity on USG, and I'm also part of the Election Commission, so that's why I'm here right now doing this. The Election Commission is made up of about 6 different members of the current USG board, and then also 2 election co-commissioners. So I'll be leading you all through this information session, super fun. Also, if she would like to introduce herself, we have May Francis, also part of the Election Commission here. She can answer any questions you put in the chat that I will not be able to see throughout the presentation. Go ahead.
Hello, everybody. My name is May Francis. Pronouns are she, her, and I am the current Senator for Commuter and Off-Campus Students for Undergraduate Student Government. Like Emily said, I'll be here to answer any questions that y'all have. But if not, we have some fun information for y'all about the elections coming up.
All right, so we'll get started. And if you're just now joining in, no worries, we are about to start the presentation. So, oh, that did not change the screen. I've never used a dual monitor before. All right, so the role of the Election Commission, what we are doing here is basically we establish the guidelines for the election process. We make sure that everything is according to the USG Charter, the Code of Bylaws, and all the different policies that USG has. We make sure that all of the candidates are held to the same standards, that they are following all of the different rules of the election that we'll get into later, and just make sure that everything is a very fair and equal process throughout. So we also work to discuss disputes. If there are any kind of violations of election rules, we also deal with those as well. So it consists of about 11 election commissioners, as I spoke about. 6 are internal to USG, senators and directors, 5 external, and then Brandon Taylor and Kaylee Dingy are our co-chairs. They could both not be here tonight, so you get me instead. So during this session, you're going to learn about the purpose of and structure of undergraduate student government at Kent State University, the roles of elected and appointed members, steps to apply to be elected member, and then steps to apply to be an appointed member, the different guidelines and rules, important dates, and then some kind of tips and expectations for your campaign, and then what will happen once or if you're elected. So there'll also be kind of a tutorial of the USG website, and we'll get into all of that throughout. This is going to be recorded and put on our YouTube channel, so you can refer back to this PowerPoint at any point to learn more about what we discussed. And again, if you have any questions throughout anything, please put them in the chat, and Senator Francis will be able to answer those questions for you. So there's just a few different guidelines that are in the USG charter. So every organization on campus has some form of charter that they need to adhere to. So ours states that the elections shall occur between the 8th and 11th at regular academic class weeks. Each candidate will declare one position and will petition and campaign only for that declared position. So you cannot campaign or petition for multiple positions. You have to have one specific one that you've decided upon. Each undergraduate student of Kent campus may vote for one candidate for each position, so you can't vote for multiple people for the same position. This is different from the petition, as you can sign for different people's petitions if they are running for the same position. So that is very different from voting for the candidate during the election and just candidates, potential candidates gathering signatures to be a candidate on the ballot. So the candidate receiving the highest number of votes for each of the selected positions will take office after the election results are announced, and they shall serve for 1 year, barring recall, resignation, or disqualification. And then the purpose of undergraduate student government. I know a lot of you are currently on undergraduate student government, but many of you aren't, so we're just going to go over this again. So since 1924, the undergraduate student government has served as a representative organization of the undergraduate students of Kent State University in Kent, Ohio. In addition to advocating for the student body, USG provides vital services to undergraduate students and the university community. So we have our charter. This is just a quote from the charter about how we kind of run ourselves, the standards we hold ourselves to. I won't read it verbatim, but we do all work to provide for the common betterment and the general welfare of the undergrad student body and the university. So just a nice thing to keep in mind. We work really hard to make sure that students are happy. The code of bylaws are also just rules that we follow, how we function, how meetings go, just what are we actually allowed to do and how are we allowed to do these certain things. So if you really like rules and regulations, you can read through the entire code of bylaws. I mean, they're pretty cool. I like them. So the structure of the undergraduate student government, basically there are 9 undergraduate students that shall be elected at large from the undergraduate student body on the Kent campus to serve a term of 1 year. 10 undergraduate students shall be elected at large from within 10 academic colleges of the Kent campus to serve a term of 1 year. 6 undergraduate students shall be appointed to represent specific constituencies of undergraduate students. I did not read this ahead of time. Constituencies of undergraduate students of the Kent campus to serve a term of 1 year. So that is the president who is elected and the office of the president, which has appointed positions within it, the directors who are elected, the academic college senators who are elected, and then the at-large senators who are appointed. So Senator at Large for Diversity, my position is appointed, as well as Senator Francis for off-campus and commuter students appointed. So the appointed process, if you aren't familiar, basically you have a kind of interview style with the cabinet, which is the directors and then the president, and they go through all the different candidates and then select the appointed positions. The chief of staff in the office of the president is also an appointed position. And then these are all website links to kentstateusg.com. It'll have all the different positions, who's currently in it. You can talk to any of those people, reach out to them about their current position. They'd be happy to talk to you about it. And there are also descriptions of the different positions as well. There's also an allocations board, which is appointed. So allocations is chaired by the Director of Business and Finance for the purpose of allocating funds to student organizations for programming, conferences, for your group or your individuals. And then there's also the programming board, which is for the Director of Programming, which helps with planning events like Flash Fest, Blast Off, those kind of bigger events that programming is responsible for. And those are all appointed positions, so they do interview for those boards and I believe also receive scholarships as well as other members of USG do. So your steps to apply for an elected position. So congratulations, you have completed the first step, or you're in the process of it by attending an info session. Your second step is to attend a USG public meeting if you have not already, just to see how the meeting is run. It's a little intimidating your first go through to see everyone speaking according to what's called Robert's Rules. It's a very formal process, but it's very, very fun once you get to know it and get really comfortable with it. So number 3 is retrieve a candidacy agreement from kentstateusg.com, sign your candidacy agreement and turn it back into the USG office. Submit your headshot, platform, and candidacy agreement through the USG election application, which is like a portal, and then complete the candidacy information form. So that is a Google form that comes to me, and I then take your information, I take your platform, and I put you onto the petition form, which you need to get at least 211 signatures. So that signatures is kind of based on the population. I believe it's 1% of the population you need to get signatures from in order to be an official candidate. So step 8, attend your candidate meet and greet. This part is required. They're coming up in the next few weeks after the petition is due. So you'll hear more about that as we go along. Senator Francis is also in charge of the weekly emails that go out announcing how many signatures each candidate has received, which will also just have any kind of just like updates to know about as we go along. And then the final step is to attend the candidate debate, which is not just required, it's bold and capitalized required, because it is very important that you attend the candidate debate. And this is not a debate like you're going to stand across from your opponent and like argue about whose side is better. Completely not like that at all. It's a very like civil process. Each candidate will receive a few questions that are all going to probably be different as well. So you won't answer the same question that your opponent might. So you all have to just like be true to yourselves, your platform, and just speak really genuinely. So it's not a very scary sounding debate. It's very, very nice. And you can visit the election website as well for more details. I think we have a full calendar that's going to be in this PowerPoint, but if not, it does have all of the different dates and times and locations on the election website. So some rules and guidelines. Now we get to the fun stuff. So this is all stuff that you need to be aware of when running campaigns. So you cannot run your campaign officially until you've received all of the signatures on your petition. So that even includes sending out the petition. So say you are trying to send out your petition to people you know, you can't say, hey, vote for me by signing this. That sounds like campaigning. That can't happen yet. So you need to say, hey, I'm interested in running. I would love to have your signature so I can be a candidate on the ballot. You have to kind of word it as if like, you know you aren't a candidate yet, you're not voting for me. This is just so I can be someone you could vote for. So campaigning is prohibited in residence halls unless given specific permission. So you need to talk to GAs or RHDs of those buildings. Please do, because they get very upset if you don't. You just put it up there. Computer labs and official Kent State listservs. So you cannot send it out mass-wide. Additionally, with the Kent State listservs, you cannot go to like your classes and just look up the email lists and send it to all of the people in your classes, hey, vote for me. That gets very annoying for other students. They don't enjoy that, and it's just not allowed. So campaigning is allowed in classrooms with the permission of your professor. So if you ask them, hey, can I stand up at the end of the class and ask everyone to vote for me and give details about my platform, totally acceptable. So campaigning is allowed in academic buildings as long as materials are being placed in the appropriate places. So every different building is going to have a specific bulletin board that everyone can literally just walk up to and add things to. And that includes community members, not just for USG purposes. So make sure that you identify that specific bulletin board as the one you're going to use, and note that excessive bulleting of bullet boards is not allowed. You cannot go to a bulletin board and cover it with 20 pictures of yourself. That is not allowed underneath the guidelines as well. Stick to like 1 or 2, a bit more reasonable, because you can get in trouble if you have too many of the same posters in one spot. So university-sponsored printers are not allowed to be used to print campaigning materials. Library printers and other printers you have to pay for that are on campus are acceptable, and you can use those absolutely. So university-sponsored printers, to go a little bit more into that, if you are employed at any office on campus, so say you work for student success programs, you cannot just go to student success programs, access their printer, and print all of your campaign flyers. That's not allowed. If this also adheres to current USG members, they cannot go to the USG office and print all of their campaign posters in the USG office, also not allowed. So just make sure it's either a library printer, if it's a personal printer that you have at home, that's okay, because you have to pay for that, or you did in the past. So just be wary of where you're printing from so you don't get in trouble for that. So another important detail at the end here, take a picture of this if you need to have all the information, very, very important. Any campaign material must include this specific information: the election days, March 15th and 16th, the time, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., and where to vote. So vote online, kentstateusg.com or flashline.kent.edu. So any type of advertisement you make, whether that is a Instagram story, a printout poster, a little like business card, it has to include the information about when the election is and how to vote. So that goes across the board for everyone. And that just makes sure that everyone, whoever you send it to, has access to actually how to vote for you. And this helps you as well because, you know, you want people to know where to go to vote. And really just encourage people to know when the voting is and what times. I guess I'll pause. Are there any questions? I can't see the chat, but are we good, May? Okay. Also, Director Hibbett has joined. She is also part of the Election Commission. If she'd like to introduce herself real quick.
You know, I'm just kind of offended that it took for us to get to slide 10 for me to be introduced, but that's neither here nor there. Hi, everybody. I am Director Kristen Hibbett. I am the Director of Communication and Marketing for USG and the current director. So yeah, and I'm on the election committee.
Awesome. I'm so sorry, Kristen. All right. So there is a code of conduct. So every candidate, will sign a candidacy agreement, which acts as the code of conduct that will be determined by the Election Commission. So any violation to the code of conduct will be reviewed by the commission and then appropriately addressed in a timely manner. So this code of conduct basically means that you're going to adhere to these rules and the more in-depth rules that you can find in this document. So here, you sign this. That means if you break any of these other rules, you can get in trouble and you can be held responsible for whatever you did. So please don't get in trouble. All right. So here we go, election schedule. This is available to everyone. I highly recommend looking through it a lot. Put these dates into wherever you have it. That's your Google Calendar, your planner, your phone, put it everywhere. Put it in multiple places. So make it bigger. Okay, sorry. 1 second. Is that good? Okay. All right. So sorry, May's in the other room. I can hear her speaking to me. Okay, so this was the past semester. So we all voted on things, the current board, new rules. So here we go, January the 21st. That was last week. That was the first day that petitions were made available for applicants and you could start submitting your campaign materials. You have until the 27th, or not the 27th, the 17th to have all of your signatures completed. So you need to have all 211 signatures by this 17th date. So I'm getting ahead of myself, but all right, so 21st, last week opened. Today is the first informational meeting at 5 p.m. virtual. Awesome, you're here. On the 9th, we have a public meeting next week. We haven't been to a meeting before. I highly recommend coming to that one. You'll get to see how USG runs, kind of the behind the scenes part, very cool. Okay, on the 16th, there is a candidacy orientation meeting held at 4 p.m. in the Leadership Center. I believe that is, I don't know what day of the week that is. I think it's a Wednesday. I think it's a Wednesday. And then the next day at 10 a.m. on that Thursday is another orientation meeting. So you need to go to at least one of these. So put it in your calendar, find what you can do. If you cannot attend either of these, you need to contact the election commissioner, so Kaylee Dingy or Brandon Taylor, like immediately about that. And their information can be found probably on any of your candidacy information or just on the USG website as well. And we'll put it in the chat at the end just in case. Or if May wants to do that right now. Can you put Kaylee and Brandon's emails in the chat? Thank you. All right. So yes, so here on the 17th, signature petitions, online applications due by 5 p.m. And this will be the unofficial list of candidates made available publicly. with whoever did meet that deadline with the correct amount of signatures. On the 21st, we will officially announce the 2022 candidates by 12 p.m. Virtually. And once they are officially announced, that's when you're officially allowed to start campaigning. So you cannot start campaigning prior to that moment, or it could get in trouble. That's too early. So everyone has the same amount of time to campaign. Everyone has the same guidelines, just keep everything very equal. All right, and then on the 22nd, we have this meet and greet held at 5 p.m. I believe that was a highly suggested required event to go to. That's also just a good thing for you to go to. If people that are just part of the university want to come and meet you, talk to you, you can get to share your platform, get to know people and a network. It's a good opportunity for you to take advantage of any of these meetings as well. And then on the 23rd, we have another public meeting held at 5:30 p.m. If you didn't attend the one on the 9th, you can come to the one on the 23rd. Heading into March, another public meeting on the 9th. And then on the 10th is when we have some exciting stuff starting to happen. So on the 10th of March are the Senate Director and Presidential debates held at 6 p.m. I believe those are most likely in the governance chambers, but it's not listed yet. So look out for that location. And then heading right into the 15th and 16th are those 2 election days from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Those days, campaign your heart out, get everyone to vote, really just kind of get the word out. We want to have really high voter turnout, and it really starts with all of you just getting the word out, asking people to vote all according to the rules, but just making sure people know how to do it and where to do it. And then on the 16th, we have the unofficial election results announced 7 p.m. and a watch party for the unofficial election results 7 p.m. So it's unofficial because there are 2 days between the closing of voting and the actual results, just in case anyone has any appeals, any procedural concerns, they would submit those to the commission and they can be reviewed. So it's not like if you get an unofficial announcement on the 16th that you have a position, you don't need to worry necessarily that you're going to lose that by the 18th if you haven't broken any rules, if you haven't done anything wrong. It's just to allow a little bit of room for error to be accounted for. And then on the 23rd, we have the last full USG public meeting where the official results will be announced. So that's kind of like the last full meeting of the 2021 to 2022 board. That's incorrect on here. It says 2020, 2021. And then on the 25th is when the appointed position application opens. So this is a little different from last year. So now if you ran for a position and if you don't get one, you still have time to apply for any of the appointed positions as it is opening after the elections are over. So this is different. Usually it was about the same timing and didn't allow for that kind of flexibility. Going into April, the 6th is the official passing of the gavel. And then congratulations, you're the new board. And then all of the kind of transition stuff follows from that. Virtual Student Leader Awards and the inauguration happens there. And then the interviews for appointed senator positions on the 18th to the 22nd. And then the last kind of transition meetings with appointed positions. And then everyone should make sure to know that in the summer, there is a summer meeting of USG. So there is a formal meeting over the summer that you have to attend, 13th, where the funding proposals for the budget for the next year are, that's when it happens. Very important. You have to attend that. Even if you're just running right now, put that date in your calendar so you know that that will be something you have to attend over the summer. Okay, that was a lot. Any more questions? We good, May? All right.
I do just want to say that all this information can be found on the website, and there's like a whole tab for it too.
I see your question about a virtual option. I believe, I mean, that will probably be up to the new board to decide if they want that meeting to be in person or virtual. That is a great question, but I also believe there will be, like if you're studying abroad, there's like a slight wiggle room in that. You would just need to present that as early as possible to the new board. Is this the last page of the slide? Oh, it is. Okay. Yeah. So any questions at all concerning anything? All these documents, as Kristen said, can be accessed. You have all full information. We'll go to the USG website. KentStateUSG.com. Oh, look at all these gorgeous people. And then you go to this tab right here that says election. So it says vote and about elections, all the information, how to run for elected position, apply for appointed position, and how to vote in the election, all the rules, all these little links. Make sure you fill out all of the links when you're applying for an elected position, how to run for it, nice little graphic. This checklist is here again. So make sure you go through all these checklist parts, and then helpful links, the policies for posting in residence halls, and the policy for posting around the university. So yeah, really just look over those posting policies because, like, for example, you're not allowed to post flyers on part of bus stops. That might not be something very obvious, you know, to kind of a place that I would think, oh, I could just go put one up there. That's not allowed according to university guidelines. So make sure you review all of these guidelines prior because you don't want to just mistakenly do the wrong thing. Okay, and then all these important dates are also here. So just get those in your calendars, be aware of them. They're very important. And then just how to apply for an appointed position. And yeah, just emphasizing again, if you run for an elected position, you don't get it, you still have time to apply for an appointed position. So highly recommend it. I love being in an appointed position. Very fun time. Cool. So yeah, any final questions? I'll stop sharing. If not, I believe you're all free to go. Thank you all for coming. You did your step one. You did your info session. And I wish you all the best. Congratulations.
Yes, thank you all.
And have a great Tuesday.
Tuesday.